So the big news from the Premier League this week was the appointment of Frank Lampard as Chelsea manager. It's been in the pipeline for some time that the Blues' all-time leading scorer would be returning to Stamford Bridge, and it's finally been confirmed. Lampard has signed a 3-year contract. He inherits a difficult situation from Maurizio Sarri. The club are under a transfer ban and they've lost playmaker Eden Hazard, who was key to their success last season. But Tom, the fans are very excited to see Lampard return to the club. There's a feeling of euphoria around Stamford Bridge right now. Can Lampard build on that? Can he do the job that most managers probably wouldn't want to do?
Well, in terms of a PR move, there's not really much better out there, is there? You know, a man that's adored by the fans, has done everything, won 11 trophies for the club, as you say, a record goal scorer. You don't really get any higher in the esteem of the supporters. I personally think it's quite a good appointment. There's not many top managers that would come in with that two-window transfer ban that Chelsea have got. He knows the club, that old famous cliche that it's not as if he's going to get used to the surroundings, the training ground. He's not going to make any sweeping changes to any facilities. And I just feel there's something about it that might just work. Chelsea have got this reputation, Chris, in the last few years of just getting rid of 40, 50 players on loan in the youth teams. And what sort of player, would want to come to the club that's a young player? Now it's a bit different. He used all of the connections he had at Chelsea when he was at Derby to get a couple of loan players through the door. If you're a youngster now, and with that transfer ban, I think you're going to be put to the front of the queue. And it could be a big time for Chelsea, this.
Yeah, it is a huge moment in Chelsea's history, potentially, particularly in the Roman Abramovich era. Never appointed an English manager, never appointed a former player as manager on a long-term basis. Of course, they had Roberto Di Matteo, but he didn't last very long despite winning the club the Champions League. It's a big question as to whether Lampard is going to get the time he needs to restructure the club. As you say, they're going to have to start using some of the younger players coming through. Can you see Lampard lasting long term, or is this going to be one and done, one season and done?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because as you say, even I can beat the drum that he is going to be given time, but the record suggests that the hierarchy do like to chop and change if things are not going well. It's not the end of the world, though, is it? Because they have got some key players already through the door. They did get Christian Pulisic before the transfer ban. Mateo Kovacic was a loan deal, so that was allowed to be turned permanent. So it's not as if they're going to be totally against the wind against some of their rivals. I think they'll give him at least 2 seasons personally, because he's going to need time to settle in and maybe start to put some foundations in place. He's returning with Jody Morris, a former teammate, of course. So, and they've got a bit of a reputation together that they're pretty astute and know what they're doing in the second tier. Of course, you don't get to the Championship playoff final, Chris, if you don't know what you're doing. But this is a huge test, and I just feel this will be a feeling out process. Maybe get into the Champions League once again, and then next year go for it, for glory, for trophies.
So finally, what will be the expectations for Chelsea this season? They won a trophy last season, of course, the Europa League, and they finished in the Champions League spots. They could win a trophy right off the bat with the Super Cup against Liverpool. What do you think Abramovich has set as the baseline for Chelsea this season?
I think it has to be top 4 again, doesn't it? These top clubs, with the money they'll be spending on wages, they've just lost Eden Hazard, as we've already touched upon. They have to be in the Champions League, because if they get out of the transfer ban in 12 months' time, then they need to attract the big stars. And I think maybe a League Cup final or an FA Cup final appearance, that squad is still good enough to get there. It really is. So I think top 4, push and try and compete with the best teams, because last year when they were in those head-to-heads, they came off second best.
Yeah, Tom's optimistic. I'm a little bit dubious. I think the proof will be in the pudding for Lampard as a manager. Only had 1 season, of course, at Derby before taking this job. Very difficult circumstances. But what are your thoughts? Let us know on our Facebook and Twitter pages. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel for all our latest videos.